The champion with the 10 Pi Dragon deck. He mastered that strategy so perfectly, but now it's all different. He is on the Ryzeal deck, and he will go first here, as still, of course, our reigning European champion.
Chandra's strongest soldier.
Oh,
now,
yes. Oh, still a fire card there. The bonfire is still within him. Okay.
Works for me. I think that Julian actually drew triple copies of Chessy Cat. If I'm looking at this, which is not the absolute worst, but it's also not really good, huh?
And I want to know how Julian right now feels, meaning that he entered the European Championship in the first round, he plays against the reigning European champion.
Yeah, that is definitely some news to wake up to in the morning, looking at the pairings. Oh, that name is familiar to me.
Yeah.
Well, that might be that.
I'm quite curious. We can see the... Okay, we're all still figuring out what happened there, but looking at Julian's hand, there was only Ash Blossom as interruption, and not the best kind of engine with triple Chessy Cat. If your opponent starts with Bonfire, which is not necessarily the best start because it just plays so heavily into Droll and Lockbird, don't you just Ash that?
I feel like that as well, for sure. I was surprised to see that Esteban was able to resolve that. I thought maybe one of his other cards in hand could be a Droll and Lockbird, which would make it a lot more sense to just let the Bonfire resolve. But now, when you let someone resolve Bonfire in this current format, it basically means we're going to get, at the very least, I would say, a detonator, but probably more than that.
To be honest, at this point, a proper play would be to ask the Bonfire and hope that your opponent doesn't have any more follow-up. As you mentioned, Basti, right now, Ryzeal will come down, and probably we'll see us on duo drive, but a detonator will be summoned regardless.
I mean, we can't even Ash for duo drive anymore. I mean, we can, but then the Ryzeal is just going to take care of it and say, yeah, nice try, buddy, but I'm not going to let that slide, because there is Gravedigger's Trap Hole in my deck.
I mean, maybe it does. Because Ash is such a low impact hand trap sometimes that you might just go, alright, okay, yeah, I might have another extender in hand, so I can still play.
I mean, but we also have Cross. It just feels so free to negate those things, right?
Yeah, that is true.
And he played it very carefully by sending the duo drive to the graveyard in the beginning, meaning we even have one material left on the duo drive if it does resolve here, so we can in multiple ways now interact with any kind of interaction from Julian. So this is what this Ryzeal deck's why this Ryzeal deck is so strong at the moment. And you might be wondering, Rafflesia, that's not necessarily a card you see in Mitsurugi Ryzeal or in Fiendsmith Ryzeal or something like that, and that is because Esteban, as, for example, Tom Luca Menzel, who just barely yesterday missed out on the World Championship, is playing and packing those Onomart cards. And those Onomart cards, all of a sudden, this Rafflesia is a staple again in that deck, because most importantly, the Dodo Warrior is just able to get this card out before playing into Droll and Lockbird, which makes everything else so much safer.
That is also because this card is not even bad going second, because you are actually playing the Ryzeal Plasma Hole in most of those decks. This card can be used offensively together with Traptrix Rafflesia, just because Rafflesia lets you activate or send a whole card from your deck to the graveyard and activate it when it's appropriate, and you can always activate this card. There's no condition on it.
But we're searching for the Ryzeal Plasma Hole, so we could have activated that from the deck, but we decide to just go ahead and search it to our hand. I mean, that gives us more accessibility by just setting it. Oh, and again, Leo, this is just the best feeling ever, right? Discarding a Mold Charmy, you going first, you won't need that. Your field is full and you're very happy about that. So you may as well just discard it for the effect of Node there. And there is...
You attach it now.
The Detonator, and the Detonator still going strong. Limited since a while. It doesn't feel like its playability was any limited with that, right? Because you still see it everywhere.
You just summon it once and then you win with it. That's that is the game plan of Ryzeal strategies. And with the hand that Julian has, I don't know if I would reveal my cards.
Ooh, and that is all we got. And Julian just picked up another Ash Blossom.
To be honest, Maliss has very hard time playing against the Detonator. One solid play is activate her on your opponent's
and there it is. Julian, like, very hardly. Julian, as a fellow Frenchman, of course, wants to follow the two players that made it yesterday. He wants to follow Damien and Matisse and also qualify with the same deck to the World Championship. But let's see whether he even is able to overcome Esteban on the first round. And he again drew Chessy. And again, I'll stand by my call. Yeah, I think Chessy Cat is one of the best of the Maliss monsters. But there is Mold Charmy Fuvolas immediately from Esteban.
Alright, that's a little bit early I want to say.
Ooh, and we even
yeah.
Imperm. Ooh, that's very, very interesting.
Maliss and Underground is going to be activated as well. It's good to know that Fuolo's resolved. I can see the point because Chessy Cat doesn't play on its own. And if you are having Chessy Cat with no other Maliss cards but a Bestial in hand, you want to just immediately go into Linguribo and then summon Magnamut or something from hand. So I can see why the Fuolo was used there.
Totally.
Fuolo was used there not only in order to play around the Link 1, but also Chessy Cat could potentially draw an out to Fuolo Drake and Ash Blossom or Cross Out or Call by the Grave.
But I mean, we activated the infinite permanence on it anyway, so that's never going to happen. But I think it was more so because of the Link 1 dangerous territory.
Yeah, you don't take the gamble if he has break, and he will go for Bestial plays to get an extra draw.
Yeah. It's a very smart choice there indeed. But also already down to 3 cards here, even if that is only a half field, as we call it here. Something that is really decimated to not give too many draws. Might be hard to play through that, especially since we've seen how many hand traps Maliss player are playing. Julian just immediately goes, hey, draw your card. Please, I want to proceed. I want to activate the Red Ransom.
And we do have the GWC set there as well, being another believer in that card. And yesterday has proven those believers that you should be deciding to run Maliss C GWC 06 in your deck. And there's also Maliss in the Mirror, which is now already a pretty good setup, even though we don't have that many monsters on our field.
Maliss in the Mirror is also a debated card.
Yeah.
In Maliss deck, Yuna, for example, didn't play it in her main deck yesterday. Alright, we're setting 3 cards. I think that is basically the most normal start versus this deck there with the Red Ransom if the Fuwalos was activated before. Sometimes you really want to have access to your White Binder. I don't think that's the case for this one because, I mean, White Binder versus the Ryzeal Onomat deck doesn't really do too much.
Nice Ryzeal. Julian, any response? Probably immediately going with Maliss in the Mirror there, yep. Making sure that that doesn't resolve. Also very, very smart play by Julian. Playing around Nibiru, the Primal Being there on his opening turn by just going for 4 summons. That was really, really smart. Still got his alright setup with only giving up 1 draw into the Fuwalos. I think that was very, very well done by Julian. And I mean, we knew the Maliss in the Mirror, we know the GWC, so there's only 1 unknown set card left, and we know how well the Ryzeal strategy can extend when there is only 1 Ryzeal monster already on the field. This could mean Sword, Axed, all of them waiting, and then also the Ono mod cards. That could be wild.
But I don't think that the hand of Esteban looks too good. I think he really wanted this Ice Ryzeal to resolve.
All right, there's Sword Ryzeal. I think that will do.
Didn't see that one.
That's a sufficient one to follow it up with. And Julian, does he have another answer to this? We know they're now playing Infinite Impermanences again, and he is as well. And that is stopping the Sword Ryzeal. But still, you got to realize there is now 2 level 4 monsters on the field. And that is what... Ooh, okay. There's Bestial Brawl Drake now too. So before Esteban even has the chance to go into his extra deck, we want to have another answer ready with that Ball Drake.
Bestial combined with Maliss have made such a good engine, meaning that they are not only extenders, but also can trap with your opponent, and especially Ball Drake.
Yeah, that's true. Ball Drake is also like an extra interruption on the field. Wow, the White Ribbit gets banished. I thought I saw a Called by the Grave for Esteban there, but also the GWC setup already from Julian just prevents Called by the Grave. That would basically negate it here. I mean, you wouldn't summon the Bestial Ball Drake then, which can make a difference after all, but now we're gonna get access to MTP.
He knows GWC, that's why he didn't activate Call by the Grave, because Julian would just activate GWC, bringing back White Rabbit.
But then at least the Ball Drake is not on the field, because that's another interruption. You can just tribute the Red Ransom to banish a monster summoned from the extra deck. And the deck doesn't really have too many monsters that activate their effects on summon, so Ball Drake is a huge interruption there. That one, however, is really, really strong here if you don't have a hard negate.
That's massive, and I mean, it has been like that since the beginning of days, where this rivalry between Ryzeal and Maliss came up, that this card into a full Maliss field is massive. Yep. And you can see Julian struggling, looking through his cards in the graveyard. Sure, you might activate the Bestial Ball Drake as well, but the rest of the field will probably leave alongside this. We chain the GWC. Okay, all right, we can protect some of our field now with that in the end, but this is still massive. Oh, wait.
Wait, we are resolving? I thought we were going to chain the MTP. That would give us a March here and follow-up, but that...
oh, wait, no. Oh, wait. I think we're protecting ourselves with the Dormouse now, because Dormouse says Maliss Link monsters that point to this card cannot be destroyed by card effect. So this is kind of a smart move from Julian there, at least protecting the Red Ransom there.
But I mean, the Red Ransom doesn't really do anything. MTP would have given us a March Hare, which is tremendous follow-up. And you can't lose this turn anymore since X-Titanite was activated. But Dormouse can still be attacked over.
Indeed. So Julian valued that Ransom very, very highly. He still has plenty of cards in hand, so, I mean, it will get back over to him. So the situation for Julian isn't horrible. And Esteban also, oh, look, he doesn't have much left in his tank either. So he's setting one card, and he's probably going to pass it over back to Julian. Yes, that is what's going to happen. So, I mean, starting your turn with a Red Ransom, I can see it.
And he has also follow-up from the end of Red Ransom that added Maliss in underground.
Indeed.
That is true.
All right, draws another card.
Wow, this is a mistaken arrest. Or Shat, right? Can never tell these two apart.
He's taking a rest.
Yeah. Makes more sense. We have Maliss in the mirror in the graveyard as well. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's in the deck or if it's in the graveyard with Maliss in the mirror, but this is just even more follow-up here. And I think that Julian is very much looking forward to ending the game this turn. Doesn't want to waste any further time here as well.
And Esteban, of course, immediately forced to do something about this. Called by the Grave is being used on the Red Ransom. That's massive, because I think that's the only Link monster available in the graveyard right now, because on turn 1, Julian played through Full Velas, and now all of a sudden Access Code Talker there, but no monster to banish besides itself, but also no other card to destroy either. Yeah, exactly. So that is sort of funny. And I mean, that was summon number 2. One thing Julian will have to really pay attention to now is to, again, not play into Nibiru, the Primal Being, but he also doesn't need that much damage anymore, to be fair.
But I think that Access Code Talker doesn't gain the attack.
I mean, of course it did, because you can only activate the Call by the Grave on the resolution of the effect to gain attack points,
true.
But still, that means we need only 2,700 attack points now.
Very good point.
So you can easily do that by just going Dormouse. Dormouse bring out another Maliss monster, and that's already enough, isn't it?
Yeah, you can just go Crypto.
I mean, when you go Crypto, you're already on to 5 summons then, though.
That is true.
So I feel like March Hare is decently big with also the boost of... Could that be enough? I think this, like all the small Maliss monsters just together might be able to just strike this out. Because if you commit into Nibiru here, I am afraid our follow-up is not particularly good anymore, because usually the Maliss deck can play through Nibiru really well, but here you really want to be careful about it.
I think that you, as you have the March Hare, I think there's a really good chance that you're trying to play. Otherwise, wait, how many summons are we on?
This is 4, Leo. We're going to summon 5 times.
I mean, this is not enough.
This is a huge risk, Leo.
We're summoning
because
every Maliss must gains 100 attack from...
This is 5 summons, and there is Nibiru, the Primal Being. He has it, and Julian has barely anything left after that. Wow, the European champion has that card that he needed exactly there.
I think he did have to go for a completely different route here. I think you have to go Access Code Talker into Splash Mage with the Dormouse and then try to play for some more resources like a White Binder and set up more cards just to play around the Nibiru.
To be honest, proper play might be actually normal summon the chess card and go not to Access Code, but to Splash Mage in order to go for White Binder and try to reset the trap cards. But obviously...
I mean, to be fair, the Access Code Talker was decent, though,
I liked
it?
it. The Call by the Grave was kind of a punish for it, to be honest, but you can't know that. Also, going second, Called by the Grave is not always a card that is being still in the deck after.
Yeah, but you know that it's not in the imperm, because it wouldn't be set.
That is true. But here, I think just summoning the March Hare and banishing something from the graveyard, that was not the correct play. I think he should have gone for some
Does Esteban have another starter? Is it finally time to reveal some of his own Omar cards? Maybe, oh, it's extra, but it cannot search. It will not be able to search, but Valid is able to go after the set card. New card from Duelist Advance. But surely we do change something to that.
I mean,
yes, it is the mistaken arrest.
It's a good force out here because you couldn't search anyways. I think that we still have the... is it the Zubababa Bancho Gagaga code, or is it the Go, 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 dwarf. Do, do, do.
I mean, whatever it is, will be a sufficient
It's
level 4 monster to go into, right?
Level
Just
4.
need the normal.
Any level 4 monster will probably do here.
Does it? Because Mistaken Arrest has resolved now. You can't have 2 Ryzeals on the field right now, so you can go into Detonator.
I mean, still, you probably just go into something that deals with the token, and then you're already in a very good position, because you need to deal with that token.
The token has barely any defense.
Does it? I mean, it was...
Access code talker plus 3 Maliss names.
Yeah, 3 Maliss names. You say that so lightly, but that's more than you would think, I believe, because Dormouse has a significant...
300
Oh,
defense.
it has 300 defense. Okay. Chassis Cat has 3... Okay, yeah, you're right. You're totally right. It's not that much, really. I thought it's more to worry about, but then it's actually okay.
But I think, what are you going into? Rafflesia might be a card that you want to summon here. Even though I also don't know if it does that much. That is the gloves.
I mean, you could go
Baguska.
You could go Baguska, but you could also, what's funny, a card we haven't seen much anymore, Dagusto Emerald, maybe?
Yeah, but you are Mistaken Arrest. Oh, you can draw under Mistaken Arrest, true.
Yeah, so that could be something funny. And I mean, you need to target 2 monsters in your graveyard. You do have 3 monsters in your graveyard, so I like that option, possibly. And look, Esteban had it on top of his extra deck there, was considering it, but no, Traptrix Rafflesia is the option instead. That one summon that Julian went into, that 5th summon that he needed to go for a game, was the one that punished him too much. Sets 1 card and passes it back over.
Now the thing is, by Rafflesia, yes, you are playing around, I don't know, March Hare top deck. The other cards also doesn't do too much
You
against.
have Malice in the Mirror in the graveyard, so a potential banish from March Hare could be to banish Malice in the Mirror, so you can,
But you can
have
Rafflesia
an
that.
additional... Yeah, right now, of course, I was talking for the previous play.
Of course,
Passing it back.
Oh,
Okay.
that is Druiswurm. That is massive. But there, Traptrix Rafflesia is amazing against. But if we had gone for Dagusto Emerald before, do we even have Gravedigger's Trapple in our deck? I mean, I would assume so if we just go Rafflesia, because the Ryzeal hole, Plasma hole doesn't do anything.
Oh, did Esteban even allow that? Yeah, I was about to say, like, Julian immediately just made it happen, but Esteban is like, not so fast. Or do we just Plasma hold this? No, there's no way. Yeah, we just say Gravedigger's Trapple, and that is going to mean the... Oh, wait, yeah, the Dormouse will never be banished here, I would imagine.
I was going to say the same thing. Oh, it also negates banished monsters effects. So we let the Druiswurm resolve here.
Honestly, I did never know. It's called
same.
Gravedigger's Trapple, so I would imagine it's only the graveyard.
But then also hand, you know?
Yeah, true, fair. You're making a point there, I will have to admit.
So the point that Esteban chose to activate on the effect of the Dormouse is because Gravedigger's Trap Hole does only negate and does not destroy the monster. So Druiswurm will be still on the hand.
Yeah. That is
And there is
very
the
smart.
Goblinberg now, Leo. I know you were really a fan of this card the first time you saw it. Of course, not the original one, but the Go Goblinberg. And that is just a lot of attack points now there, and enough of them to make